Sorry, forgot that last verse. I knew it was coming, but it was like a freight train. It has me over. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, I'm up at the podium. You know what I'm going to have you say. Welcome to Valley.
Welcome to Valley
Community. Church. Divine. Science. Please greet everyone to your right, left, front, and back with a sincere good morning handshake.
Good morning, nice to see you. All right, good morning.
Good to see you.
Morning. Nice to see you.
Handshake.
I'm a hugger. Good. Nice to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Good. Nice. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
I know you can still Good morning. I know you can still You look familiar. How you doing?
It's a very special service today and a very special day all across America and some English-speaking countries around the world. And of course, we're honoring, memorializing in some cases, and just plain doing great things for the fathers in our lives. You know, if your father is on that other spiritual plane right now, I recommend just doing something nice for a father you know. Take them out to the golf course, a restaurant, you know, but play a board game with them, or just talk. It's a wonderful, wonderful day to celebrate the paternal side of our lives. Please, and also, this is the only negative admonishment that I'm going to give you all day long. So, but please heed this. Turn your e-devices off during the service. Cell phones, tablets, or whatever communication device, out of courtesy for everybody else. We have a lineup today that is top notch. And although I'm not doing something like emceeing a beauty pageant like somebody we know in the White House, but I want you to give an ovation to every name that I read off this morning. I want it to be sincere, I want it to be loud, and I want it to be so hard that your palms hurt. Our special musical guest today is Carrie Rutledge. Our speaker with the special message today is Doug Watts. I'm going to yield my space in just 30 seconds to Miss Kate Lear.
In honor of Father's Day, I've chosen to read Rudyard Kipling's very famous poem, If. My own father died 15 years ago today. So, If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head all about you, let me start again. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things that you gave life to broken, and stoop and build them with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, I'm sorry, I'm emotional today, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Yes, thank you. Kate, that was so beautiful that if you dial 206-2314 this afternoon, you're going to hear the very same poem on words of inspiration. That's my free plug for today. It's now time to sing and raise our voices to the Lord. It's number 18 in your hymnals. I believe the title is, and correct me, Rick, Through the Love of God and Father, or Our Father? Our Father. Through the love of God our Father, and we're going to sing all 3 verses. 18, 3 verses.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Doug.
Will you go within with me for a moment? Dear God, we come today with expectant hearts, open hearts, to be touched with this sermon today, with the music, with just being here among each other. May it uplift a soul, comfort a heart, change a life. In Christ's nature, amen.
Amen.
I'm going to speak just a moment about Father's Day. I was looking at some statistics, and it said that there was $15 billion spent on Father's Day. And that works out to $134 per father. That's 34% less than what's spent on Mother's Day. But I want y'all to know I have a lot of $134 still coming. But I do know this. I think what a father most wants is that phone call from the child, the son in my case, that just goes, "Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad." That means everything, just thanks, Dad. I started thinking about in the animal world that there's some marvelous fathers in that we can emulate also. And like the Juana bird, which is you can find in the swamps in Africa and in Brazil. And the female will, of course, lay the eggs, and then the male will guard the eggs and help brood them. And it says the female just goes off, and it used the word gallivanting. The male stays behind and raises the chicklings. And it says the female just goes off and migrates, and the male will stay back until the chicklings can take care of themselves and can take flight. And only then will he leave. Thanks, Dad. And then the emperor penguin, wonderful bird, lives in the Arctic. It can dive up to 1,800 feet. It can hold its breath up to 18 minutes. Now the emperor penguin, after the female has the egg, she'll pass it to the male, and he'll keep the egg on his toes. And he has a brooding pouch that he'll cover the egg with to keep it warm in this Arctic air. Now the female, after she does this, she'll just go out to sea, back to the ocean for 2 months to replenish her nutrients and so forth to feed. And the male doesn't eat for 2 months. He stands there with the egg on his feet, protecting it from the cold. Thanks, Dad. And in the wolf population, they're monogamous animals. They have lifetime partners. And the male and the she-wolf will have the puppies together, the pups. And they both raise the pups. They both hunt, gather food for the pups. And the male plays with the pups and indoctrinates the pups into the pack later on. So they were interesting in that they stay together and they raise the young together. Again, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Also, I happened to hear of a little story of a man. He was a father, and he was an earnest man, and he prayed every day at the foot of a mountain. And one day he felt led to go to the top of the mountain. And he went to the top of the mountain and he yelled out, "God, what does 1,000,000 years feel like to you?" And to his astonishment, God answered back and said, "A minute." And then he said, "God, what does $1,000,000 feel like to you?" And again, to his amazement, God answered back, "A penny." Well, the man had a little smile on his face. He said, "God, send me a penny." And God said, "Certainly, in a minute." Please recite the order of service with me now. You can find it in your order of service, or state with me. God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and I am ever one with perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Good to be back. Now, I had a couple of songs all planned out for this morning. As usual, this little chorus floated into my head last night, and I thought it sounded familiar. And then I realized I had written it, so I went to my studio, and sure enough, I found it. It's called "Jesus Is Real," and all there was was the chorus. And I thought, I should do something with this. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this thing. So bear with me. I hope I can remember. I practiced a few minutes before. I came in here to see if I can remember the melody to this thing. So we'll see what happens. I have to make it up. Jesus is real. Jesus is hope. Jesus is love. This I know. Forever the truth. Forever the light. Forever my God. Love of my life. Jesus is real. Jesus is real. Jesus is real. Jesus is real. Then, how could I doubt when all that I see is everything you do for me? You light my way. Sing in my heart, I'm never alone, I know right where you are. And then I couldn't think of any words to go here. So you know what a songwriter does when he can't think of anything to put? He goes, oh, 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 oh. Jesus is real, Jesus is hope, Jesus is love, this I know. Forever the truth, forever the light, forever my God, love of my life. Jesus is real, Jesus is real, Jesus is real, Jesus is real. Life of me, I cannot see how anyone could not believe in you. And for the love of you, I will lead them to your perfect love and all that you do, all that you do. Jesus is real, Jesus is hope, Jesus is love, this I know. Forever the truth, forever the light, forever my God, love of my life. Jesus is real, Jesus is hope, Jesus is love, this I know. Forever the truth, forever the light, forever my God, love of my life. Jesus is real, Jesus is real, Jesus is real, Jesus is real.
Now's the time of our healing meditation. If there's nothing in our box today, that's fine. If you will, just where you're sitting, close your eyes. you want to, I encourage you, just take your right hand and place it on your heart for a second. Just place the hand there. Breathe in. Breathe into the flesh and the bone of yourself. You can almost feel the center of yourself. The warmth of your hand reminds you of your humanness as to who we are. We want to go and I invite you to go just a bit deeper into what's within. To that spiritual side of you, that spiritual part. It has that wonderful unison with our Father. God and I are one. We feel it so deeply within us. We know it so deeply. God and I are one. We leave the troubles of the week past. We are here. We celebrate the moment here, right now. In these next seconds, I invite you to feel that warmth within you and know that God and you are one. Thank you for your love. Thank you for blessing our country, our nation, our leaders, our climate even. We know that you are in control. You are in control. We can rest easy. It is in Christ's nature that we pray. Amen. I want to sit by the window. I want to sit by the window. Do you remember when you were a teenager or younger, about those years, when you were getting ready to get in the car, you go, "Dibs, I've got the window seat. Dibs, I've got the window." And even today, when it's starting to snow out, and you might have 2 or 3 inches out in the snow, you rush to the window and you put your face against the window and you look and you go, "Oh, man, look, there's 2 or 3 inches, might not be school tomorrow. Kids might be out." And then later that evening, you might turn the outside light on to see what the snow's done, and you look at it and you go, "Oh, man, look, it's 4 inches, maybe 6. This is the big one. This is the big one." I want to sit by the window. Even today, when I fly on an airline, I like to get the window seat You see, the pilot doesn't know it, but as he's banking to the right and to the left, I help fly the plane. I always want the window seat. Now I wonder, why do we do that? Why do we want the window seat? Well, I think it's because we don't want to miss out on anything. We want to be engaged in life. We want to know what's going on. We want to live there. We want life large. That's why we sit at the window. Walt Whitman once wrote, "In everything you do, do it with joy." Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "In the mud and scum of things, something always, always sings." You see, he knew that in the depths of the ocean there was life, and in the sulfur pools of Yellowstone National Forest or National Park, there's life in those sulfur pools. Here's an unusual quote you probably haven't heard. "I decided I want to fly into the sunshine. That's how I want to live. To fly into the sunshine. Evel Knievel." You see, it doesn't matter if you're a poet or a daredevil. We all want to be engaged in life. We want to be part of life. That's what we want to do. I've got the Bible here, and I want you to know, this past week, I looked in the Bible. I wanted to find a chapter and the verse and the passage that said, don't be too involved in life. Stay back a little. Don't live life too large. So I looked. It's not in here. That passage is not in here. In John 10, Jesus told us, he said, "I came so that you may live life more abundant." That's how we're supposed to live, sitting by the window. It reminds me of a story about a farmer, and he had his favorite donkey. And the donkey fell into a hole in the middle of the field, and the farmer didn't have enough money or the apparatus to get the donkey out. He couldn't hire the machinery to do it, so he thought, well, I'll just have to bury my donkey. So he went to the top of the hole, and he had a shovel, and he took a shovel full of dirt and threw it in and hit the donkey on his back, and the donkey shook it off and trampled it beneath his feet. He took another shovel full of dirt and threw it in and hit the donkey on the back, and again the donkey shook it off, trampled it beneath his feet. And again, same thing, another shovel full of dirt, hit the donkey on the back, and the donkey shook it off, trampled it. And this went on throughout the morning. And later that afternoon, the donkeys in the adjoining pasture eating green grass and grazing. You see, the donkey knew that you had to have perseverance. You have to have perseverance in life. The donkey knew you sat by the window, you had to have perseverance. There's a story also of a very smart man, and he happens to be a chef. And his daughter came to him and said, "Dad, I'm having a horrible, horrible time with life. I just can't figure it out. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know how to work this out." And his father said, "Well, come into my kitchen and see what we can do." And he went into the kitchen and he got 3 big pots out, put water in them, brought the pots to a boil. And in one pot he took a russet potato and put it in. The second pot he took an egg and put it in. In the third pot he took some coffee grounds and sprinkled them in. And then he waited for about 20 minutes and he went back and he said, "Now let's look and see what we have." And so he turned the burners off. And he got the russet potato out and said, "Look, it's done now, it's cooked. It's a little soft inside." And they got the egg out. He said, "See, it's hard boiled and you can spin it on the counter." And then he got a ladle out and he ladled some coffee into a cup for her and said, "Drink this." And she did. She said, "Oh, that's good." And he said, "Yes, you see, it changed from within. The coffee changed from within." So in life, we're to be persistent, we're to change from within. We come to this church week after week, and we get to hear this wonderful message of God is omnipresent and the omnipotence of God. And if we come, we find out that it changes who we are, it changes us from within. Matter of fact, here in July, I think it's July 2nd, we're going to hear from some of our other congregants, and they're going to share their experiences about how divine science, how this church, how our beliefs have changed them, have made a difference in their lives. You see, they've been changed from within. So if you have that window seat, you want to be changed from within. In Mark 8, verse 22 through 26, there's a caption there where Jesus is entering into a village. It's on the Sea of Galilee. It's Bethsaida. And with him he's got James and John, and he's got Simon Peter with him. And I believe Andrew also. And there's a blind man there, and some of the villagers bring this blind man to Jesus. And it doesn't say how long the man's been blind. It doesn't say if it's from birth or an accident or an injury. And they bring this blind man to Jesus, and Jesus takes the man by the hand and walks away from them. Now the man is blind, but I'm sure he's got keen hearing, and he can hear Jesus spit into his fingers, to his hands. And then he can feel Jesus taking this spit-laden hands, placing it on his eyes. And Jesus says, "Can you see now?" He removes his hands. And the man says, "I can see men, but they look like trees." In other words, he can't see very well. Interestingly, this is the only healing that Jesus did where he ever asked, "Are you healed?" But again, Jesus takes his moist, laden hands, puts it over the man's eyes, removes them and says, "Can you see now?" And the man says, "Yes, I can see. I see clear." You see, God wants us to see life clear with open eyes. You know, see, the eyes are the windows to the soul, so we're supposed to have open eyes. Our soul should be clear, should be open, our heart should be open. I believe that's how we're supposed to live, that's how we're supposed to sit by the window. Many of you might have heard of this gentleman. He's as famous as Wayne Gretzky, the great Canadian hockey player. His name is Terry Fox. Terry was born in 1958. He died in 1981. And for those of you that are good at math, that's just a short 23 years. And I want to introduce you to Terry a little bit. And we're going to go to when he's in the 8th grade. Terry loved basketball. That's what he lived for, to play basketball. And he tried out for his 8th grade team. He didn't make the team. See, the thing about Terry is he's no good at basketball. But he loves the sport. So he decides, well, I'm going to practice all summer and all fall. And when basketball season comes around again, I'll be ready to play. So when the 9th grade came, he tried out for the team again. He made it this time. He made the team, but he didn't play, and he sat on the bench. He said he sat on the bench the whole year, sort of second string. And some of the coaches said, well, Terry, why don't you take up another sport, you know, maybe jogging or running? Well, he did just a little bit, just to please them, but he really, really liked basketball. So he tried again for the 10th grade team, and he made the team. He still didn't play. He did the same thing in the 11th grade, made the team, still didn't play. 12th grade, he did it again, made the team. He still wasn't playing, but his teammates recognized something in him. They made him the team captain. I guess his peers knew something about him. Well, he's just no good at basketball. Terry graduated from high school, went on to a small college in Canada, very small college. And he wanted to play basketball, of course. And one day he was coming home from practice. He's in his 20s now. And he has a single vehicle accident. It's no big deal. His car just bumps a bridge embankment. And he bumped his knee. And a couple weeks later, his knee just started really hurting him and hurting him and hurting him. So he went to the doctor. And the doctor said, "Oh, me, I'm so sorry, Terry." He said, "You've got this, it's a form of cancer that just springs up in the knee. It's just a form of cancer that is found in the knee. And to save your life, we're going to have to amputate your leg." He's just 22, 23. Well, he had to do that. His days of basketball are over. He did play some wheelchair basketball, but it just wasn't the same. But Terry decided right then and there, he said, "You know, I'm going to run a marathon every day. I'm going to raise money for cancer research. I'm going to start at one end of Canada and I'm going to run to the other end. I'm going to run 26 miles a day. I'm going to raise money for cancer research." And that's what he did. So he started at one end of Canada, started running, and he ran for about 7, 9, 10 days. And no one was really paying any attention to him. He was like a kook out there running. And he wasn't getting any newspaper time or radio time. He wasn't raising any money. But Terry kept running. And finally, a man by the name of Sherman, who owned the Four Seasons Hotel and Resort in Canada, heard about Terry and he thought, you know, if he's got this much perseverance, I'm going to donate some money to him. So he gave him $10,000, sponsored him. And I will call some of my friends, my other benefactors, and they sponsored him too. Well, money begets money. And now when Terry would go to a town, the newspapers would be there, the radio would be there, there would be newsprint about him, they'd interview him. He was raising money. And before long he had $1 million raised behind him. And he's still running across Canada. Terry ran for 26 miles a day, 143 days, 339 miles, until he had to quit. He had that aggressive kind of cancer that was incurable, and it got into his lungs, and he had to quit. He couldn't go any further. 3,339 miles. By then, he'd raised $10 million. You know, he's just a bench warmer, isn't he? He's the second string. Terry died shortly thereafter. That race is still going on today. It's a one-day race in several different countries. It's raised $650 million. Terry's just a bench warmer. He's just a second string. In Canada, there are 32 streets and bridges named after him. There are 14 schools, 14 business buildings, 7 statues. The Canadian Coast Guard commissioned a new cutter. They named it the Terry Fox because of his courage. There was an unnamed mountain in the Canadian Rockies. They named it the Terry Fox Mountain. He's just the second string. He's just a bench warmer. Look what he did. Terry lived flying into the sunshine. He knew how to live with perseverance. He knew how to live changed within, and he had his eyes opened. He accepted life, and he lived that way. He lived always, always sitting by the window. Thank you. Will you pray with me? God, we are so thankful that we're here, so thankful for this church, for the message that it brings us week after week of growth, potential, possibilities. Thank you for being among us today. Amen.
Let's see here. That was beautiful. It was. Now, in digging back through my songs again, last night, I found one. Was one of the first batch of inspirational songs I had ever written. And I remember it was inspired by Michael Jordan. And if you remember when his time was there, when he was playing, he was, you know, it was one of the slogans was, I want to be like Mike. I think there was even a song. So I want to be like Mike, I want to be like Mike. Well, of course, my son at the time just thought Michael Jordan was it, you know, so I thought that's great. But, you know, as a father, I wanted to set an example for him because I couldn't be like Mike. By walking the walk and walking the talk. John 2:6, I found this just today. It's the one who says he abides in him ought himself to walk in the same manner as he walked. So that's how I wanted to be an inspiration to my son. I couldn't be Mike, but I can be a good father and set a good example. So that's where this was inspired. I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. In everything I say and everything I do, I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. And Lord, I pray each and every day to be just like you. When Jesus walked on the water, his disciples were terrified. Peter cried out, Lord, if that's you, would you call me to your side? But as he stepped out on the water, he was frightened by the waves. And Jesus said unto him, O ye of little faith, and I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. In everything I say and everything I do, I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. Lord, I pray each and every day to be just like you. Now when the devil tempted Jesus, the devil didn't stand a chance. He tried with 3 temptations, but Jesus didn't give a second glance. The devil walked away in anger, knowing he had failed. Because when it comes to temptation, the Lord always prevails. And I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. In everything I say and everything I do, I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. Lord, I pray each and every day to be just like you. When Jesus was arrested, he was prepared to meet his fate. As a crowd of angry sinners showed no mercy on that day. But Jesus was not angered by the suffering they put him through. Instead, he asked, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I want to be just like you, just like you. In everything I say and everything I want to be just like you, Lord, just like you. Dear Lord, I pray each and every day to be just like you. Dear Lord, I pray each and every day to be just like you.
That reminded me of that Jungle Book song. Do you remember in the movie Baloo the bear singing, I want to walk like you, talk like this? We seem to have a prevailing Rudyard Kipling theme going on today. Enough of that. It's time now for our blessing of the kids. And if the usher could please bring up the two baskets. And in your orders of service, you shall reveal the blessing of the gifts creed that we say. Together with feeling today, I acknowledge God present as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God. And Tammy, I will help you with one basket, if you'd like.
Basket.
Good morning. These announcements short so we can eat. As if we didn't have enough to eat yesterday, the ones that went to the home place. And the ones that didn't go, y'all missed a really good meal. So, as we'll have other events coming up in July, we'll be announcing them later on, probably next week. We've got to change a couple dates, I think, on a couple things. But we'll be doing all kinds of things. So if you haven't joined us for some of our events, please try to do so, because we certainly have a good time and we eat a lot. So have to exercise to kind of keep up with that. Next Sunday, after the church service, we'll have a regular congregation meeting. It'll be right after the church service. Also, this past Wednesday, Maria started her DVD series, or CD series. Or
It turned out to be a CD series, much to my horror.
Okay.
I bought a DVD series and I got a CD series.
Okay, well,
But it's very interesting on the Dead Sea Scrolls.
and it starts at 6 o'clock, right?
6.
Okay, and today's potluck, and we're celebrating Father's Day, so everybody come next door and see what we got over there. And also the flowers today were sponsored from the church for the fathers, and then everybody else can take one also. So help yourself to the flowers. Also, we're going to have a work day, one of many coming up for the church. Ann and I were here Thursday, and everybody's been focusing on the front of the church, but we walked around to the back. The back looks like a jungle back there. So we actually have limbs laying on the roof. We have from that tree there, and we have some hanging over the fence and all the bushes back there. We need all of you people that have all these power equipment stuff that y'all like to use. We're going to ask you to bring it. and so we can clean up this back here because it does look, it may have to take more than one day, but we're gonna do it on Saturday, July the 1st, first day, and we start at 8 to 12, don't mean you have to be here all that time. If you can come for 30 minutes, we don't care, as long as you can come and help do something, and we greatly appreciate it. So other than that, that's all the announcements I have for today, so anyhow, I'll remind y'all again about the workday. Thanks.
Thank you, Jan. Time for our closing hymn.
Sorry, Dale.
Page number 43 in your hymnals, please turn to that. One of my absolute childhood favorites. Here I am, Lord. Here I am, Lord. And we're going to do all the verses. 3. I think there are 3. There may be 4, but we're going to do 3.